All right, if you are a reseller, you would have easily noticed that on YouTube, you actually have this opportunity to get a good grasp of what's going on around the reselling community. And this is one of the reasons why I tend to watch a lot of YouTube. Sometimes I'm working, I just put my laptop on or my PC and just leave YouTube to recommend me videos that they think would be relevant to me as a reseller. And sometimes you get really good information about what's going on, and this is I find very, very helpful. And if you are a reseller and you are not doing this, I would actually advise that you kind of make it a habit once in a while, listen to what's happening around you, because truth be said, sometimes if you are a reseller, it could be very, very, very lonely. And the more you can actually get to see what other people are going through, you can actually learn a thing or two. I've learned a ton of stuffs online on YouTube, basically just listening to people's stories, listening to people's videos and hearing people's experiences. And just today, I was driving down to the warehouse, being Sunday. I decided to drive to the warehouse because the weekend, talking about Friday, Saturday, has just been explosive. I'm going to leave that for a different video. But then I put my phone on and just wanted to see if there was any video that was popping up on my feed. And I saw that there was a video by a reseller, apparently in Australia, live for flips or live for flips. I'm not so sure how this name is pronounced, but forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong. And she shared a story that was a little bit touching. Given that I do sell high value items, I felt like, yes, this is something that might be really, really disheartening, especially for her as a reseller. And I felt like, you know what? In the video, she actually said, if you had a tip or two, if you had a comment, just go ahead and comment. I felt, see, I have just a lot to say in situations like this. And first of all, I don't have the time to just sit down and begin to try to write a comment that, first of all, would take so long to craft. At the end of the day, there'll be a lot of, you lose your thought. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to get to the warehouse. Before I do anything, I'm just going to make a video reaction to the video that was shared by Live or Live for Flips. If you've not seen the video, I'm going to be leaving it here so that you can actually take a look. Yes, it's bad, because when you sell high value items and you have this kind of request from a buyer asking to want to return your item, especially when the buyer says that the item is not as described, it could be very, very troubling. You see, I've been in these situations before. It could be very, very troubling. These boots in questions, they were expensive boots, and according to what you said in the video, the boots were in pristine condition. So I can imagine how you would have felt. You would have felt really, really mad. Hey, what's going on? Is somebody trying to kind of scam me and all that? I know these kind of emotions because I also have been in this situation before. But then my comment to the whole video you shared is this. Yes, like I said, I'm not discounting the fact that it could be very disheartening, especially when you feel like you've not gotten the right support that you needed from eBay. It could even be a reason for you to want to give up on reselling altogether. But believe me, this is just part of the package that you get being a reseller. Of course, we're going to come to that. But first of all, the thing I noticed is that if I were you in the situation, the first thing I will actually do is to pick up my phone and call eBay or request a call from eBay, either way, because over the years reselling on eBay, I noticed that I get better support when I talk to an eBay customer service or a customer rep, on phone. I get a better response. I get a more human approach to the problem I might be having if I have to talk to somebody on phone. When I get to chat with one of the reps, I just feel like I'm chatting with a bot. I never really believe that I'm actually chatting with somebody that has, a feeling to want to relate to your problem. I want to do everything possible to actually make sure that the problem is solved amicably. I'm not saying eBay should always also take side with the seller, just somebody to kind of take a critical look at the situation and make a better judgment. I kind of feel like if you had taken the phone to call an eBay rep, you would have gotten a better handling of this situation. So what I would have naturally done is to pick up my phone, call eBay and request that somebody please take a look at my account, somebody please take a look at the transaction. And if you wanted the situation to be pended until you received your boot, then and then you could actually explain to the customer rep and say, look, yes, this buyer has been given a label, or this buyer has been given a promissory note to send the items. You would bear the cost of the shipment, and the rep can actually confirm that by saying, yes, I can see the communication between you guys and this is the thing. And okay, this is how it is. We're going to wait. We're going to extend the date for which this automatic closure is going to set in, because this cases being closed is not manually done by an eBay staff. This is an automated system. It's been programmed such that when this day has elapsed, if there are no changes in the situation, perhaps there are no changes in the status of the transaction, the case automatically closed and the buyer receives the money and sometimes gets to keep the item. But an eBay staff can actually override that process. So if you speak to somebody, the person can actually have access to your account, has access to actually stop that process. Let's say we're going to give an additional 1 week to make sure that you actually receive your item, or make sure that the buyer has actually uploaded the shipping details, in this case the tracking number and so on and so forth. So, but if you had just only chatted with somebody, there might have been the possibility that this person just replied you on the basis of this chat, never really looked at the account, never really went ahead to actually escalate this issue. So I would have really wished that you had taken your phone to call eBay. Another thing that you raised is that, yes, eBay should actually do kind of a lot to kind of see that buyers are not just coming to attempt to rip off sellers. You see, this a long time ago when I also had this kind of issues, I actually thought of this, but taking a look at it from a different perspective, especially from the perspective of a business, is going to be very, very, very hard to actually pull that off on eBay, because there's no way that eBay will actually just go ahead now and begin to profile any new account that want to buy from them, that want to buy something on the platform. It's going to be kind of difficult if they set up a system like that. At the end of the day, they're just going to end up profiling people, genuine buyers. And when they raise genuine objection to the items they've received, you block them, or you kind of, it doesn't really work like that. But what I finally realized that one can do is that if you are a seller on eBay, just do what you're supposed to do. Try as much as possible to maintain a very, very good standing with the eBay policies, which is, if you have return requests, handle it as soon as possible. If you have objections from sellers, try as much as possible to react to it, If you, like your own situation, it was kind of difficult for you to send a return to somebody that had bought from a foreign country. You see, make sure you find a way around this problem. I used to have a case like this where it happened to me. Someone bought a PC from me and it was kind of difficult for me to send a return label directly. What I did was just to go ahead and buy a return label myself, addressing it to myself, and then went ahead and sent the buyer a PDF file of the return label I had bought. So what I needed to do in this case was just to print it out and then paste it on the packet and send it back to me. In this case, I had access to the shipping number, the tracking number, which I uploaded to eBay, and after about a week or up to 11 or 12 days, I received the packet. Yes, the packet didn't come the way I would have loved it to be, but once again, that's a discussion for another day. But then I had control over the situation because I was able to show to eBay that yes, the buyer has received the label and I have the tracking number and the item has not been delivered. And in this case, the automated system that had been set up to close case just like that couldn't come into effect. You see, yes, it might be difficult sometimes. Sometimes you don't have the motivation to want to reply to eBay messages, but if you are committed to selling on the platform, do your best. Just be sure that at the end of the day, eBay, they are not in the habit of just leaving sellers to their own fate, especially in situations like this. But like you rightly said, you finally got credited. This is something I know that eBay will definitely do. eBay has the seller protection programs also in place. eBay is also not so like, okay, we're going to just wait and let these buyers kind of mess with our sellers, because they actually need us to be in business. They need responsible sellers like yourself. They need you and I to actually put up responsible or beautiful or decent items on the platforms to attract buyers to the platform. So eBay is not just going to be in the habit of seeing a case like this, which is somebody had bought your shoes, somebody has raised a request that the item is not as described, and then eBay just says, no, close it, give the buyer the money, and then let the seller go to hell. No, this is not how it works. But the thing is, you have to have shown to eBay 5 years, like you said, you've been selling on the platform, is a long enough period for you to have shown to eBay that yes, you are irresponsible. If situations like this happens, just be rest assured that eBay would not leave you in the dark. They will definitely do what they're supposed to do. In this case, refund you your money and make sure that at least you are not in the negative in this kind of transaction. Yes, like I said, it might be very discouraging, but then pick up yourself. This is what it is. The selling or the roads to selling on eBay is not filled with roses. Sometimes there are thorns here and there. Sometimes you lose money by just simply buying the wrong things. Sometimes you even buy items that ideally, these are items that you think would normally sell, and then you bring it to the platform, you try to sell them and no one is buying them. And sometimes you even buy items that everybody wants. At the point of buying it, the item was working, but when somebody bought the item, you try to put it together and ship it, only for you to realize that the item is defective, and you just have to move on. Yes, it could be very, very painful, but I really do think that you'll be able to get through this and just count it as an experience, something that needed to happen for you to be a better reseller. One way I did combat this problem was that I pretty much do not ship items outside of Europe, because when I have to ship items to the US, to Australia, and issues like this come up, I really did think of it, and I don't have the patience to want to deal with issues like this. So because of that, I tend to ship items just within the EU, where I know that my service provider, at the click of a button, I can easily send whoever has bought my items a return label, and then have a guarantee that we have access to the shipping number, which I can upload to eBay, and make sure that everything is good. I hope this video helps you. I really do hope that this is the last time you will have a bad experience like this. Keep up the good work you are doing and the good videos you are making. We really do need people like you in the reselling community.